In the midst of sorrow, you can't be up when looking down. Right away tomorrow will bring. Oh, you hear the voice of freedom. Telling you this can never be done. No matter how hard reality seems, just hold on to your dream, yeah. That's right. As long as you keep your head to the sky, you can win, you can win, you can win. Happy Monday, everybody. It is April 29th, 2024, and you are listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and chief national political analyst. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms, including X and Instagram and TikTok. Spill, Threads, all of them at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. That's DrNiiQuartelai. Pro tip, just type in Dr. Nii, DrNii, and boom, bam, boom. I pop right on up. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580. And like magic, there you have it. Also, when you download the KBLA app, be sure to use the open mic feature. That way you can leave me and the team a voice memo. Maybe it's something I said, something that one of our brilliant guests said. Maybe it's something that's just been sitting on your spirit, if you will. Well, be sure to utilize that open mic feature and let us know. We just might amplify your voice right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Also, be sure to subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you never, ever miss an episode. Look, the weather's looking nice. I'm broadcasting live from Washington, D.C. today. It's a sunny day. It's a warm day. It feels like summer is right around the corner. And chances are you have places to be and things to do. And so why not subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast and allow political news digest of the day and some pretty awesome guests come along for the ride. And what a ride it's been just this weekend here in Washington, D.C. We had the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday and a whole week filled with events celebrating the First Amendment, celebrating some of the most distinguished journalists among us. Hat tip to Eugene Daniels, the incoming president of the White House Correspondents Association. He will be the first Black and openly gay man to be at the helm of the White House Correspondents Association. And so we love that as a demonstration of the more perfect union that we are building. Now, on to your national news roundup, on to the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. And kicking us off, USA Today is reporting that Antony Blinken urges Hamas to accept Israel's extraordinarily generous Gaza truce plan. Secretary Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, urged Hamas today to swiftly accept Israel's latest and what he calls extraordinarily generous proposal for a Gaza truce to secure a release of hostages amid a diplomatic drive to end the war between Israel and Hamas. Hamas negotiators were expected to meet Qatari and Egyptian mediators in Cairo today to deliver a response to the phased truce proposal Israel presented at the weekend ahead of the threatened Israeli assault on the southern border city of Rafah. A source briefed on the talk said that the Israel proposal entailed a deal to accept the release of fewer than 40 of the roughly 130 hostages believed to be still in being held by the Hamas leaders in exchange for freeing Palestinian jailed in Israel. Palestinians jailed in Israel get out if Israel gets at least 40 hostages. And a second phase of the truce consisting of, quote, a period of sustained calm, Israel's compromise response to a Hamas demand for a permanent ceasefire. Blinken arrived in Saudi Arabia today, the first stop in the latest of a series of troubleshooting in the Middle East since the Gaza war ignited in October. Blinken reiterated that the U.S. could not support an Israeli ground assault on Rafah, where Israel says Hamas' last 4 intact battalions are holed up in the absence of an Israeli plan to ensure that civilians will not be harmed. And so we'll continue to follow this story closely. But sticking with this story, but from a different angle, the Washington Post is reporting that Amnesty International says that Biden must halt arms transfer to Israel. A new assessment from Amnesty International asserts that Israel has used U.S.-supplied weapons against Palestinian civilians in alleged violation of international law, finding certain to inflame the heated debate about whether the United States should curtail support to its closest Middle Eastern ally. Now, the advocacy group, their findings follow similar conclusions from an independent panel of experts and recent analysis from other civil society groups that were set to be disclosed later today, as the Biden administration, under mounting scrutiny, faces a looming deadline for determining whether Israel has abided by the laws of war. The Amnesty International report provides an accounting of incidents in which civilians have allegedly been injured or killed in Israel's campaign against Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip and other instances. It says that Israel's military has used U.S. manufactured weapons, including joint direct attack munitions and small diameter bombs, to conduct unlawful attacks or kill civilians, which Amnesty says should be investigated as potential war crimes. Outside of Washington, Columbia orders student protesters to leave encampment or face suspension. The Washington Post is also reporting that Columbia University ordered student protesters to leave their nearly 2-week-old pro-Palestinian encampments by 2 p.m. today. This warning is one that carries with it a little bit of a penalty. Those who do not will be suspended and will no longer be allowed on campus facilities. The order is the latest escalation in the standoff between administrators and protesters that began April 18th, when about 100 protesters were arrested by New York City police. Pro-Palestinian protests have since popped up at college campuses across the country, with arrests on Monday at Virginia Tech, as well as Case Western University and the University of Georgia. This according to local reports. The total number arrested on campuses nationwide over the last 2 weeks topped 1,000, according to Washington Post tracking. And the Supreme Court rejects Elon Musk's appeal in SEC fight over what he can post on X. USA Today is reporting that Tesla CEO Elon Musk still needs to be careful about what he posts on X. That's the platform formerly known as Twitter. The Supreme Court today declined to review the restrictions that the Securities and Exchange Commission put on Musk's social media posts and other public communications about Tesla as a part of a 2018 settlement agreement. The billionaire businessman had asked the court to decide if the agreement violates his free speech rights. Now, by rejecting Musk's petition, the justices left in place an appeals court decision dismissing Musk's attempt to modify or cancel his 2018 agreement. Finally, in a little bit lighter news, the BBC is reporting that Blue Ivy Carter joins mom Beyonce in the Lion King prequel. Beyonce and Jay-Z's daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, has joined the voice cast of the Lion King prequel, Mufasa, the Lion King. Blue Ivy, who's only 12 years old, voices Kiara, the daughter of King Simba and Queen Nala, played by her mother. Beyonce is reprising the role from Jon Favreau's 2019 photorealistic remake of the animated 1994 original. The new film, directed by Moonlight filmmaker Barry Jenkins, will explore Mufasa's origin story and his childhood with brother Scar. Like the 2019 movie, it will also combine live-action filmmaking techniques with photoreal computer-generated imagery. Jenkins told Good Morning America that Blue Ivy was professional, while Beyonce was a mom first on set. They just approached it that they both wanted to perform and they wanted to do the best they could, and yet they didn't have to pretend very much because they really are mother and daughter. That's what Barry Jenkins told the BBC. The first teaser trailer for the film also aired on Good Morning America. A voiceover says that Mufasa was born without a drop of nobility in his blood, but would change our lives forever. And so we can't wait to see it. Beyonce and Blue Ivy Carter coming to a silver screen near all of us. And don't we love, 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 love to see it. You know what else we love, love, love? We love music. Music has the power to just transcend culture and geography and so many of the characteristics that make us who we are. You know, when we talk about building a more perfect union, we can't talk about that without thinking about sort of the soundtrack of different eras of history in our country and around the world. And we know that jazz music is very much a part of that. I mean, I remember being a student at USC and when Nancy Wilson came to perform. How cool was that? Well, I have something that may be just as cool when we come forward. Jaron Marshall is going to be joining us, and he's going to be talking about jazz music, its importance as an American art form, and its ongoing influence on modern hip hop and beyond. You don't want to miss this conversation with Jaron Marshall when we come forward. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's more than a dream, y'all. It's more than fantasy. More than
out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
We got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. You gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La, 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 la. Pick up 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your face. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La, 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 la.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and so excited to welcome a phenomenal musician in our midst. There's so much heavy news that's afoot, and we wanted to ease on into this week, and to help us do it is a jazz musician that needs no introduction. Jerron Marshall is here with us today to talk about jazz music, its importance as an American art form, and its ongoing influence on modern hip hop and beyond. Welcome to the show, Jerron.
How's it going? Good evening. Good afternoon.
Good evening. Good afternoon to you. And so I want to start with this whole idea of jazz music and its importance as an American art form. Country music has been in the headlines in part because of Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album, and we'll get to that in a second. But for folks that are sleeping on jazz music and its very foundational influence on all music, school us real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say that jazz music is inherently like an American art form that is for us, by us. It's something that was created here on our land. And through its veins and through it touching other forms of popular music, basically every form of popular music, it really laid the basis for what we think of today as popular music in America and other American art forms such as hip hop, of course. Just in my research, just growing up, jazz was an academic thing, for the past few decades for sure. So it was hard to really grasp what was going on. It was really hard to think about jazz in the context of modernity. But when you really go back to it, it was the music of the time. It was music that people made to protest, to celebrate, to dance, to love, to live, break the rules, adhere to the rules. It really was all those things and more, whenever it first started out. And that's important to note. And I really think it stayed alive through hip hop more than anything. I think it's a direct line from hip hop, of course, sampling jazz records and funk records, all the way to the improvisational aspect of jazz music and freestyle hip hop and the like. So I really think that hip hop is just a modern version of jazz.
And I'm so glad that you said that. And I just want to zero in on the improvisational element of jazz, which, in my view, is a through line across different genres. And we know that one of the conversations that's being had still, and I think Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album really helped to elevate this conversation, is around genre. There are some people out there that say, genres are sort of artificial, right? That real musicians sort of technically cross genres more often than we think. And so what say you about as a jazz musician, as somebody who's steeped in jazz history, what do you say about jazz, being a genre unto itself versus jazz being an art form that is transcendent?
For sure. That's a great point. Firstly, I feel like the musicians that are in the field getting their hands dirty, they're not the ones naming the genres, right? I think genres, especially historically, this is America. I feel like historically it's just a way to sort of separate the records and create barriers, really. When you think about the difference between, let's say, R&B music and other genres, it was called rhythm music. It really was just a way to say that it was black music. So jazz was sort of similar because if we remember, like jazz wasn't received with open arms whenever it came out as a pushback of earlier forms of swing music, but it was really just a different thing. And then I also want to note too that when you really get into the nitty gritty, what we call jazz music is really bebop, that started in like, the late 30s, early 1940s, and then it went to cool jazz, hard bop. So we kind of call this thing jazz, which is like a combination of three or more musicians, maybe 3 to 6 musicians in a small bandstand, playing music, playing the melody, and then improvising a bit. That's what we consider jazz, but that was already a different form of music. That was already bebop, and the people who like jazz thought that that was a crazy form of music. So it's that thing, like every generation like pushes the envelope further, and then the older generation just tries to hold on to how it used to be. But yeah, yeah, you can continue.
And so for your band, which is called the Black Pumas, and we want to
Yes.
make sure that our leaders, learners, and listeners don't sleep on the Black Pumas, the Grammy nominated Black Pumas. Let me just say that. Not only are you an artist, but you're a keyboardist for the Black Pumas. Talk to us a little bit about how you all are incorporating that jazz history, keeping that jazz history alive, but how you're also iterating and offering sort of a fresh take at this art that has been steeping across generations.
Yeah, for sure. I will say I feel like the basis on an atomic level of who creates music and creates band is usually musicians that like kind of play jazz, So I feel like that's how the Pumas come into play. Like most of the musicians, all of us, like we love instrumental music, of course, because if you play keyboards, then you kind of want to hear keyboard-led music, etc. Guitar, you want to hear guitar-driven music. So that's like our voice. So like it really came together for that. And yeah, Adrian, who produces and like does a lot of the music, as well as Eric, I feel like are hip hop heads, So just by being hip hop heads, you can just kind of go back and trace your steps towards loving instrumental music, loving the samples, loving Bob James, James Brown, Funkadelic, etc. So yeah, by being into that form of music, I feel like that's how we get to push the genre forward and mix it with the jazz. And of course, like my existence in there, I'm a jazz head. Our drummer Steve is a big jazz head too. So, it's kind of a mixture of jazz heads mixed with the church upbringing, as well as some people that are just straight up rock and roll, and like, they came up into that world of playing the garage band. So yeah, all 7 or 8 of us on the bandstand, we all just bring that influence forward, and like you kind of hear it in the music.
I mean, I think that's so cool. Maybe in a former life, I was a musician who came back to this life with the skill set to play a tambourine, and that's about it. But
important instrument. That's very important.
Is it really? Tell the people, why is the tambourine so important?
It's the rhythm. It's like the heartbeat. It's the pulse. Angela, one of our background singers, like she'll just play the tambo the whole time, and like it'll enhance the hi-hat and just get that groove going. And music is a communal thing. Thinking like Eastern cultures, like it's not a commodity. It's not people just trying to get rich off of music. Like it's that drum circle. It's that type of communal feel. So I think tambourine being a nice entry level instrument is a good entry level thing into like feeling the music and just having a good time.
So, Jerron, are you telling me and all of our listeners that when you all perform on May 3rd in LA, are you inviting me to come up and play a number with my tambourine?
Play 2 numbers. I got you. Come on down.
That would be a sight to see, wouldn't it?
I write a piece for tambourine,
Oh, you'll write a piece for a tambourine? Okay.
I don't know how to notate it on sheet music, but I'll figure it out.
Oh, okay. As if I could read sheet music. All right, that's good. That's good.
Oh, sorry. No shade, all love, That's overrated.
All love. And the people are going to be, or should be showing a lot of love tomorrow, especially being that it is International Jazz Day on April 30th. So, it's always a good day to purchase some tickets to a jazz festival. We know the weather is just starting to get real nice, as I mentioned, and we'll talk more about this when we come forward. But, Jerron has a performance. Jerron and the Black Pumas are performing on May 3rd. We're going to tell you where.
So, I'm so sorry. It's actually just my solo project on May 3rd.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, you get more Jerron. You get more Jerron on May 3rd. We're going to tell you where you can go to get tickets to check out that performance. And when we come forward, we're going to talk a little bit more about the artists that have influenced Jerron and the music of the Black Pumas, and how we can do better by supporting our artists. Artists play a very special role in our society. They as Karan mentioned, help to facilitate what is a communal experience whenever we're enjoying music. And so we're going to hear more about that and then some when we come forward. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. More than 500 supporters gathered outside of St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, North Carolina today for a Love, Home, and Unity Walk. The event, organized by several groups, including Capital City of Hope Foundation, is designed to raise money for the financially troubled HBCU by highlighting its 157-year legacy of higher education. In addition to owing millions in back taxes and to creditors, the university is also in the midst of a battle to regain its accreditation from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. Dalton, Illinois Mayor Tiffany Henyard is facing potential issues as the FBI reportedly is serving subpoenas at Thornton Township Hall following previous ones at Dalton Village Hall. Residents are demanding Henyard, who is flagged, to resign amid spending scrutiny. Additionally, Henyard's legal representation in 22 lawsuits are requesting withdrawal due to non-payment. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton, your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is here to satisfy morning cravings with its warm, sweet cinnamon sugar rolled dough, ooey gooey texture, and signature cream cheese frosting. Get the best part in every bite this morning with Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Mother's Day is coming up, and Macy's Backstage has amazing deals on great gifts that Mom is going to love. All for $15 and under. Get low prices every day at Macy's Backstage. Find a store near you today at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers might have an advantage heading into Game 5 tonight at Denver. Nuggets guard Jamal Murray is listed as questionable with a left calf strain. There's a good chance Murray will not play. The Lakers are down 3-1, but they have had their chances to flip this series. Of the 192 minutes played over the 4 games, the Lakers have had the lead in 136 of those minutes. That's 70% of the series where the Lakers have been up, including at halftime of each game, and a 20-point lead in Game 2. The Lakers do have something to build on for tonight if they can put together a complete game. Tip-off time tonight is 7 on TNT. When Clippers guard James Harden scored 33 points Sunday at Dallas, he became the first NBA player to drop 30 or more in a playoff game with 5 different teams: the Clippers, Oklahoma City, Houston, Philadelphia, and Brooklyn. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. Visit jpmorganchase.com/racial equity and get the tools to help reach your financial goals.
Are you tired of being stuck without internet access? Connect and go with LA County Library. It's simple. Visit your local LA County Library location and borrow a hotspot for free to get Wi-Fi wherever you are. It's the farewell tour. Maze featuring Frankie Beverly and KBLA wants to send you and the special mom in your life. Sunday, May 12th at the Kia Forum.
Make sure I'm right, girl, before I let go.
Also featuring soul icon Anthony Hamilton.
Amazing.
And After 7. It's a Mother's Day celebration you won't forget. Listen in for your chance to win tickets. And don't forget to wear white. It's the farewell tour with Maze featuring Frankie Beverly.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
You are listening to a War Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. And if you're on YouTube, you're watching a More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm delighted to be in conversation with Jerron Marshall. He is an artist and keyboardist with the Black Pumas. He is not new to this. He's true to this. I'm talking about the art form of jazz. And we all need a little bit of respite from the news of the day. And, part of how I decompress is with music. I start my day listening to music. Throughout the day, I get to play DJ, thanks to Alexa. I get to say, hey, play this, play that, play this, play that. And I feel, all the better because of it. Earlier in this conversation, I was talking about, being a student at USC when Nancy Wilson came to campus. And I tried to interview Nancy Wilson for one of the student publications there. That didn't happen, but I did have a chance to see her performance, and it was extraordinary. Extraordinary. Jerron, who are some of those jazz music icons who just sort of transcend that continue to inspire you the way that Nancy Wilson inspires me?
Yeah, so my guiding light, my lighthouse for sure, is Herbie Hancock. I got to see him. Black Pumas were doing a festival in it was in France. It was in Rennes, around Champagne, France, and it's like the school festival. It was wild. We actually played it at midnight. Yeah, it was a cool festival. But yeah, I saw Herbie Hancock during the day, and that really helped me and motivated me to finish my first solo project, my first full-length album. So yeah, I got to see him then. Then I played Montreal Jazz Fest with my group almost a year ago. That was July of last year. And we went to a talk where Herbie was just talking to some young musicians. So got to be in a small theater with him and just hear him speak about music as well. But yeah, I think all things Herbie is a good place to start for my personal journey.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. It's amazing how those personal journeys, amazing where they carry us. And clearly your personal journey is carrying you right into May 3rd where Deron Marshall and the Collective has a performance coming up. Tell us, where is the performance and where can people go to get tickets?
Yeah, so we'll be playing at the Natural History Museum. You can get tickets on their socials. KCRW is one of the many sponsors. And yeah, that'll be May 3rd at 9 p.m., but it'll be a nice all-day family-friendly affair. They're doing some cool talks at the museum, and they're gonna have DJ playing, a DJ from KCRW, as well as another band supporting. So yeah, it should be a really good night and a really cool thing for the city. And I'm always excited to be back in LA, and yeah, I'm excited to take my four-piece band and have some fun up there.
And have some fun indeed. Look, if I were in Los Angeles on Friday, I would be there in the front row rooting you on. And I might even bring my tambourine.
Of course, it's encouraged.
I might just do that. But I don't want to get too political. But I've got to ask you. Ask you this question. We are in the midst of a very heated campaign for president and so many other offices across the country. And one of the things that we sometimes see a little bit more of than we used to are musicians, issuing cease and desist letters to certain candidates saying, "Please don't play my music at your rally," because they don't want to be associated with that figure or associated with that movement or what have you. What say you? I mean, you earlier you said that so many things about music are communal, which could lead folks to an understanding that nobody sort of owns. I mean, from an IP standpoint, yes, but in terms of what people do with that music and who it inspires and how it inspires them, like you can't contain that. And so, what's your take on artists sort of increasingly sending out sort of cease and desist letters and distance their art from certain political movements and political candidates out there?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you just kind of hit it. Yeah, the intellectual property is an important aspect because, yeah, people, they live for songs, they die for songs. Like, it's an expensive endeavor, like just making music, as well as an emotional endeavor. So I think that's a common thing with songwriters. Like, you can make a song and then it could be misinterpreted and taken a different way. And then once that copy of a copy just goes through, then someone could take the song. I think Trump used "The Wall" by Pink Floyd, and like that was one of the cease and desist moments as well. And like it just has the word "The Wall" in it, so it's like people aren't really listening to what the song is about or anything. So that's just an example of like how if people aren't on the same page, I think it's really deep because I feel like if you're running a campaign and you want to support local musicians or smaller musicians, then maybe you could have them write a song for you instead of just trying to go to the top and like use a song without getting the rights to it. And, I think people could be more connected in that way, get that community aspect that I mentioned if we just kind of work together on things and everyone was just on the same page in that aspect for sure.
Well, well said, and we appreciate your insights. We don't always have a chance to hear directly from artists like yourself or musicians like yourself, and so we appreciate the opportunity to turn up the volume on what you have to share. But before we let you go, I've got to ask you about what you are listening to. Like, what's on your iPod? Like, what's on your shuffle right now? I constantly listen to music.
My favorite, yes.
My car on shuffle, and so I love the fact that I never know exactly what I'm going to get, and so tell us, like, what's on your shuffle right now that you are tapping your feet, and tapping your hands to in the car.
I love that. Yeah. By the way, on that point about the shuffle, a recent study actually showed that more people are kind of listening to playlists more than like specific artists. So that's a real common thing going on. So of course I do that as well. But I've been listening to this producer, musician. His name is Robo Hands. It's really cool. It's really smooth. The name kind of sounds prog rocky, but yeah, it's really smooth. It's sort of like Khruangbin. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
I'm not.
They're one of my favorite bands as well. Super smooth trio out of Houston, Texas. Some light vocals. They were sampled by Jay Electronica actually. So it's sort of like a modern band that gets sampled. Robo Hands as well. I've been listening to his record. I've been listening to Mike, this cool MC that I found out through listening to Earl Sweatshirt, the new stuff, Mavi, as well as this other like MC I've been listening to, like some cool jazzy samples. But, I've been also listening to Isaac Hayes, I got right here, Section 80 by Kendrick Lamar, Things Fall Apart by The Roots, I just can't help but move through every corner of music and just see what's hip and what's fresh.
That is so awesome. And speaking of The Roots, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
So, White House Correspondents' Dinner was this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And on Saturday night, the after party.
Mm-hmm.
It must have
been at 7 a.m.
It must have been 2:30 or 3 a.m. I can't believe
God.
At 3 a.m. in Washington, D.C. Oh my gosh. I was at, I think it's Grazie Noni in downtown DC. And guess who was spinning?
I got to guess.
Guess who?
Questlove?
Did he call you?
No, well, you said The Roots, how
You are quick. Yes, Questlove was spinning, and folks could not help but get on the dance floor. Right?
That's awesome, man.
And there are some places where people, are a little more shy in terms of getting on the dance floor and cutting up. Folks were on the dance floor grooving. Questlove did that, and
that's awesome.
Please bless the world with that playlist, because that playlist was something else. You hear me? I mean, Questlove was letting us have it. And so my appreciation to Questlove of The Roots for giving us so much joy on Saturday night. We all need a little joy. These are challenging days, and music can always be a balm, right?
For sure, always. The perfect ointment to just, relax and take your mind off of things.
That's right. Well, our thanks to Jerron Marshall, artist and keyboardist with the Black Pumas. If you're in Los Angeles, treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Go out and check out Jerron Marshall and the collective over at the LA County Natural History Museum. They're going to be carrying on there, and tickets are still available, so you can go to the LA County Natural History Museum website and get those tickets. If the weather in LA is anything like it is in DC today, get into it. Our thanks, Jerron, and please come back again soon.
Will do. Have a great day.
You too. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. The quiet part out loud when we come forward.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. Before we get to the quiet part out loud, some news coming out of Texas, where Ryan Chandler, who is reporting for KXAN News in Texas, is reporting on social media that likely dozens have been arrested now, many of them carried out by hands and feet, awaiting updated arrest count from the University of Texas Police Department. A Travis County jail bus was on the scene, presumably to transport the arrested folks in mass. I'm looking at some of the images here. You all may not be able to see this, but I'm looking at, it looks like law enforcement officials carrying out a student protester. Their arms appear to be sort of hogtied behind them, and they're being, carried out, not walking, but they're being carried out. And so that is what's happening or being reported in Texas at the moment. From Texas to New York, we are seeing reports from Katie Smith, who's an independent reporter covering protests and social movements. Katie Smith is reporting that Columbia University faculty has linked arms and formed a wall in front of the entrance to the Gaza Solidarity encampment as hundreds of students encircle the lawn area there. Students are remaining in that encampment where they were told that they could face disciplinary action after 2 p.m. You might remember at the top of this show, we reported on the university telling students that they had to ditch the encampments by 2 p.m. today. Well, it's now almost 5 p.m. Pacific time, and those students are still there, and you have a wall of faculty members locking arms around them. And so we're going to continue to keep our eye on this, and I'm sure we'll have more to report tomorrow when we are back on the air. But this is just, one of many movements that are afoot right now across the country, really creating a great deal of social unrest from coast to coast and beyond. And another cause of that unrest is Project 2025 and the movement that could erode Black equality. Capital B News is reporting that you could say that President Trump over the past year has been on a revenge tour. Just recall the militant language that he used to rile up his followers, saying, quote, "And I'm your warrior, I'm your justice. For those who have been wronged and betrayed, I'm your retribution," he declared at one of the gatherings. But only more recently have Americans gotten a concrete sense of what precisely that retribution might look like if Trump enters the White House in 2025. Axios is reporting this month revealed that one of the main goals of a second Trump administration would be to redirect the federal government's focus to what the former president and his supplicants believe is the actual problem afflicting our country: anti-white racism. In particular, they would erode 1960s era policies that have nourished economic opportunities for Black Americans, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that have flowered since 2020 following the murder of George Floyd. This assault on civil rights is one plank of Project 2025, a transition plan spearheaded by the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank, for the next Republican president. Trump hasn't officially co-signed, but many of his associates are authors. The policy agenda is expansive, detailing how to use the federal apparatus to repeal gains made in a variety of arenas, from education and infrastructure to healthcare and LGBTQ issues. These rollbacks would, to no one's surprise, disproportionately harm Black Americans. This political vision only reaffirms how invested the conservative movement is in normalizing white supremacy and standing close to people who espouse some of the worst rhetoric about Black people and race. That's not me saying that. That's Marcia Chetlian, a professor of African American Studies at the University of Pennsylvania. To understand more about Project 2025 and what it could mean for Black communities, you gotta read the breakdown. You gotta read the breakdown. And we are gonna continue to break this thing down for you because it's just that important that people understand the choice that is before them. So there are many movements that are afoot across this country. Let's not turn a blind eye to the MAGA movement. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective. A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Are you wet shaving? You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops, I'm good with Gillette Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard Mama hates anyway?
Since 77. I shaved and got ingrown so bad.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturizer. So I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
The best a man can get keeps getting better with Gillette Skin Guard. Buy now at a retailer near
My
you.
mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. You gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right, yeah. With us 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your face. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze.
KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and let me finish with this. The USA Today is reporting that African American Studies course these African American studies courses are out there. The question is a new AP African American studies course too woke? And what they did was brilliant. They attended classes to actually figure it out. And they found a lot while they were there, but some interesting insights. They say, the course has the rigor of a college level offering and the interdisciplinary scope of an ethnic studies seminar comprising 4 units that extend from ancient African civilizations to modern day movements. In mid-May, about 13,000 students at 700 schools in 42 states and Washington, D.C. will be eligible to take the AP African American Studies test. High scores could earn students credit at more than 300 colleges that have indicated that they will grant it. Now, while the stakes and the difficulty level are high, students say the material is resonant and it's accessible. The immense demand from teens, especially Black youth, who participate in AP classes at lower rates than their white and Asian peers, suggests that many more U.S. schools will pick up the course once it goes live this fall. The AP class could continue to face headwinds in the coming years as proposed bans targeting critical race theory, diversity, equity, and inclusion turn up on legislative agendas. But the College Board declined to say which schools are offering the class, but states, districts, universities, and local reporters helped USA Today identify roughly 370 campuses based in nearly 200 school districts that are offering the classes. And so we are going to see how this turns out. But look, the students say that they want it, and the disparities in Black students with access to AP classes couldn't be more stark. And so we're going to continue to follow this, but we'll have to leave it here for now. My thanks to the extraordinary village that helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer extraordinaire, Miles Lowe, our show producer, Robert Battles, and our podcast publishing guru, Odell Bodie. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. Remember, don't panic, organize, do what you can from where you are with what you have. You've been listening to a more perfect